Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. And thank you especially to the patrons who make this possible for you every single day with their support at patreon.com/SW7x7. Alright, so for the third time in 4 years, the folks at Disney Plus have had the Simpsons folks do a Star Wars short. Back in 2021, it was The Force Awakens from its nap. In 2023, it was Rogue Not Quite One. And this time it's May the 12th Be With You, which is of course a play on May the 4th Be With You, but May the 12th was of course Mother's Day, and so this particular Disney Plus short focuses on a trip to what is not Galaxy's Edge somehow, but it is a Star Wars land at what is, you know, seemingly a Disney park, but the Arabesh where they're all going in says, "Welcome to Disney Playground Planet" for some reason. And somehow Marge gets blamed for taking a Jedi Stormtrooper fight simulation too seriously and starting to beat up on Stormtroopers herself, when it looks like everybody else is actually taking out Stormtroopers, and Maggie extends her pacifier to create what's not exactly a lightsaber, but basically a wooden sword, and she decapitates a couple Stormtroopers, and of course there's a Wilhelm scream that goes along with it, which is always fun. But yeah, Marge gets blamed for things getting out of control, and a Stormtrooper actually refers to her as an overprotective mother in front of the entire assembled audience of people there, and she has to then decide to throw an apology party back at her house. So yeah, I don't think this really treated Marge very well. Like, you know, they also put her on a T6 shuttle, which, you know, again, that's fun. Ahsoka shows up and she's got a little hutlet hanging on to one of her head tails, and that throws you back immediately to the days of the Clone Wars movie and the little hutlet Stinky that was Jabba the Hutt's kid. So, you know, there are moments where you're like, you know, and very happy about it, but also moments where you're like, why do they have to make it so Marge would get, you know, seasick slash air sick slash space sick on the T6 shuttle when it was going to hyperspace? And she goes to throw up out a window, and the window has a little thing on it that says "Window by Boeing," which means that this is now totally dated, basically, with all the stuff that's going on with Boeing. So if people check this out 10 years from now, people are going to be like, what's that all about? BB-8 goes flying out the window and explodes. So yeah, you know, silly moments like that, silly moments like Darth Vader showing up and saying the penalty for littering is death at the Disney park, or Goofy ordering ice cream, and if you look at the list of different flavors, there's Wookiees and cream and Obi Rum Kenobi mixed in there. At one point, Mickey Mouse goes to park in a parking space that is labeled for Bob Iger, and he smashes the sign, and it says, "Except for Mickey," when the Bob Iger part falls down, and he passes by what looks like a concept model of a T-47 and also what looks like Luke Skywalker's land speeder. And I got to thinking, you know, probably way too critically and seriously about this whole thing, obviously, because, you know, there was a time back in the day when David Letterman was doing his late night show, like the late night after Johnny Carson show, and when General Electric bought NBC, he used to make fun of General Electric. He was pretty, you know, merciless with them, and there was some discussion about whether that was actually like pointed satire that was useful, or whether it was just satire that kind of let people's steam off in terms of GE, and so maybe it actually just kind of took the edge off of people, and when GE was actually worthy of some serious criticism in our society, that maybe David Letterman's jokes about them kind of took the edge off it. But it's still fun to see a Star Destroyer pinata getting whacked. It's still fun to see the Cantina band playing at this apology party, and Cy Snoodles hanging out there as well. And I want to give special props to the audio description reader for the episode as well, because man, to have to fit so much in when stuff is just hopping in these shorts like this, I mean, that's quite a chore. And usually at the end of the credits, there's a thing where you get to hear who the person is, and unfortunately unfortunately, this didn't have it, and I didn't see it in the end credits, so I wish I could name the person. Unfortunately, can't, but she did a fantastic job. So it's fine. I don't think you necessarily have to watch it. It's not must-see viewing necessarily, but it'll make you smile if you like Simpsons, if you like Star Wars, and you have nothing better to be checking out. Do think they did Marge dirty in it, though, but I'd love to hear what you think if you decide to check it out. So comments for YouTube are right there, and the Q&A for Spotify is right there, and for everyone else, wherever else you're listening, then please head over to the blog post for the show's episode at sw7x7.com and let me know what you think. And that is going to do it for this episode of the show. If you enjoyed the show, please help me get more people to know about this Daily Dose of Star Wars joy. You can do that by telling people online and in real life. You can do that by telling algorithms with ratings and reviews and likes and subscribes and follows and joins. And you can even help me produce this for the world on a daily basis, and you can learn more about that at patreon.com/SW7x7. And it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.